Breaking news, hot across the wire as we speak via the Twitter world. The MLB has sent a proposal back to the players after, you got to remember now, these negotiations and proposals from the MLB and the MLB Players Association have been nowhere near each other, okay? The MLB sends a proposal over the MLBPA. They actually say, we're not going to counter that because we're not even going to take into account what you've said. The original offer was, okay, we want a prorated contract. Then we also want a 50-50 split, which is another 33% down because there's no fans. And the players said, we're not even going to answer that. This is what we want. We want a prorated 114-game season. We're not taking a 50-50 revenue split. We're not doing any of that. This is what we want. The MLB came back and said, okay, if that's what you want, we'll do 60 games or 50 games or 40 games, and if that's what you want. And the players, nobody has countered the other person's contract. They've all said that contract proposal is so stupid, we're not even going to answer it. Now, in a concession in the 11th hour almost. Last week, these things were supposed to be finished if they want to get this off. But now in the 11th hour, Carl Ravitch of ESPN is reporting that the MLB has made a proposal to the players. 75% prorated salary, okay. 76-game season, okay. That is more than what they were offering at 50 and 40. That's less than what the players were offering at 114, but it is somewhere in the middle. There's playoff pool money. There's no draft pick compensation for signing a player. Season finishes September 27th. Postseason ends at the end of October. Significant move towards players' demands in an effort to play more. This feels like now there's going to be a time to counter. Now they're going to get into the nitty-gritty and work this thing out, just like Trevor Bauer outage, pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, said on this show, he said, we've had labor peace for the last 2.5 decades. We always find a way to get it done. Even though the MLB floats out these contracts and proposals just to see what the PR spin is, and they're not officially offered to us, which is kind of a dirty move. And even though the players are saying something very different than the MLB, Trevor Bauer said he's 95% to 100% sure that whenever it comes push to shove, the MLB and the MLBPA will be able to figure it out. Carl Ravitch here tweeting that basically they're getting to that point, and they're going to have to, because it has to happen rather soon here if they really want to get this thing going.
Yeah, and he tweeted out right below that, according to the sources, this equates to roughly $200 million more in player salaries.
This is good news. This is good news. If you're an MLB fan, and I'm not sure there are many that exist, or there are many that are watching or listening to the show. So all 10 of you know that, yeah, the NHL is coming back. Yeah, the NBA is officially coming back July 31st.
Yep.
In Orlando, they're having their turn. Yeah, the AFL is coming back June 11th. Aussie Rules Football, can't wait for that. PGA is back. The MLB was thought to be the only league that couldn't figure out how to get back and operating. It feels like they're awfully close with that Carl Ravitch tweet, Ty Schmidt.
I hope so, but I'm still just looking at everything else. So it takes them this long to actually decide on the season. They still have to do all of the health and safety stuff. So are we really in the 11th hour? Because if that's the case, then they still need to have everything done by the end of this week.
Let's assume that the health and medical had already been figured out beforehand. Now, Trevor Bauer said that it's not just about the players being healthy. It's about the managers who are sometimes in the early hundreds. You know what I mean? We've seen them wobble out of the dugout and try to get into it with the umps. There's some younger, obviously, but how about the trainers and the equipment managers and things of that nature? That all has to get figured out, as does, I would assume, for the NHL and for the NBA and for the NFL and for everybody in the world that we're currently living in, even though videos from around the country are showing that the social distancing thing is all but done. It seems to be done, the social distancing. Vegas said hello, welcome back. No pool parties, obviously. We don't need you swimming around in somebody else's COVID-19 piss. But you can come through the casino and do the clubs and everything like that. And then you look at the protests that have been happening. You got thousands and thousands of people all over the place in beautiful moments on top, being encouraged to hug each other and things of that nature, coming fresh off of a pandemic, which is very interesting. But it feels as if maybe the herd immunity or something of that nature with the strand of the COVID-19. And once again, this is coming from an idiot who knows nothing about medicine. I'm just getting a read on the internet for things. It feels like fans getting back in the stands is going to be something that is going to happen at a much more rapid rate than any of us could have imagined.
A few minutes later.
And we have an updated tweet here from Bob Nightingale everything I just said, go ahead and erase it. The MLBPA considers the MLB's latest offer a step backwards. The guaranteed 50% pay with possibility of earning 75% prorated salary, also in proposal per Carl Ravage, 76-game season, playoff money, and no draft pick compensation for free agency. So,
Yeah. So
what does that even mean?
11th hour, baby.
It sounded good.
It sounded good, I thought. Well,
Bob
MLB
writes,
is not coming back.
yeah.
and Bob writes for the USA Today for the MLB, so he's legit.
Bob
Checks out.
Nightingale, USA Today sports Major League Baseball columnist, Entercom Radio Sports Insider, MLB Network Insider, BBW,
Baseball Writers of America.
AA,
Oh, that's not my definition.
Arizona chapter chairman, Hall of Fame voter, and he's a father and a husband. Damn, everything we thought was good was not good. I thought this was a
You want to
step.
reach out to him to come on the show?
Oh, Nightingale?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Send him a DM. Let's see if he'll come on. We would like to get a little bit of a heads up. Why is that not good? Maybe we don't know. As of last week, Jet Passon told us that it was roughly a $10 million difference for each team if it was a 60-game season versus a 114-game season. Now, which is what the players wanted, 100 and something, and then now they're at 70 whatever, and it's like, okay, so that would cut it in a little bit more. So what do they have to get to, I'd assume, for the players? 90 games?
That would be my guess. Yeah.
90 games, you get to 90 games. Here we go. Will the MLB owners concede that? I mean, who knows? Nobody does, literally.
It's not happening.
It sure feels like the
What is
sport.
today? June 8th. The MLB is officially dead.
So sorry to interrupt. If you're a man watching this, you deserve to have long, great. And you can do that now with our friends at Roman. Right now, you go to GetRoman.com. You get $10 off and free 2-day shipping on Roman swipes, which are guaranteed to make you have longer, more fulfilling every time you get in the sack. Now, let's get back to the fornicating action. Ken Rosenthal has tweeted that the players are seeking 100% pro rata, which means the MLB came out and offered 75% pro rate. The players want 100% pro rate. Let's assume that the public narrative is going to have them drop down off of their 100% prorated stance, even though, by the way, these were contracts that were negotiated. This is the MLB's way, guaranteed money. This is what we think we're going to get. This is this. I think players have a very much understandable right to say, hey, now if we're going to take away games, cool. We would like 100% prorated salary then. I can understand where they're coming from and the whole business sense of this thing. But if you look at the world around it, I think there's going to be a lot of outside indicators that say, hey, drop down to maybe 80%, right? So the MLB is saying 50 originally. Now they're saying 75. Maybe the players come down to 80, 85. Who's scratching who's back? We both are. Okay, look at this. Let's make a deal happen. I'm not happy about it for the players. I want the players to get $1 billion. I want everybody to get $1 billion. But in the world that we're in, with every other league potentially going off, the players saying we want 100% pro rating, that's probably not going to happen if we think that there's going to be a deal to be had.
Yeah, which is interesting too, because in the thread that we also have this Mike Axisa guy or whoever he is, but everything that they've proposed from the MLBPA side is still just at 33% salary. So the owners haven't moved off that number at all. So they are just a bunch of greedy corporate fat cats. But the players do look terrible, from this perspective.
Well, everything is in the PR now at this point, and they are in the 11th hour. It doesn't feel like the MLB is going to get it done. But both sides are going to have to give things up. That's how a deal happens, by the way. That's why I was always confused when the NFLPA openly said that they're ready to go to war with the NFL when it came to negotiations. Well, it's like, that's a bad first step in business. Like, hey, listen, I'm coming in there, and I'm going to try to screw you over. Well, then the NFL, who has probably told people the exact same thing that they were being told at that point, like, hey, we're going to screw you over. They were ready for war. As soon as the NFLPA came in, the NFL was ready. There's no negotiation happening or anything like that. And I'm not saying it's the players' fault. I would assume that the players felt that way from previous negotiations and things of that nature. But anytime you go into a negotiation and you let them know that you think they're stupid, you think they're idiots, let's assume that the negotiation's not going to go as well. That's what it feels like always happens in this, because it all gets so public. There's so much money on the line. Then people's families get involved and everything of that nature. And it all of a sudden becomes one big spin narrative. Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? How do we get out of this thing? But both sides have to give up a little bit if you want to get a deal done. That's just common business, common practice. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need.